see you. Nice to see you again. I come back again. I have a application on the Afghanistan and other issue too. And on the allies, our allies concerned about the U.S. security credibility, how do you think the Afghanistan crisis impacted the credibility of the United States security commitment to its allies? Secondly, last time as President Biden mentioned about that the United States military would be sacrificed without the national interest. What if there is no interest in the United States and the countries that have made a security commitment with the countries such as Korea, Japan, and Taiwan? Do you have any comment on that?
Could you repeat the first part of that second question?
First part of the second question.
Yes.
What if there is no interest in the United States and the countries that have made a security commitment with countries such as Korea, Japan, Taiwan, such things?
Great. So let me take your first question first. It is safe to say that this administration has prioritized our system of alliances and partnerships in profound ways. And we've done that because we recognize them as a profound source of strength. In the context of Afghanistan, and I spoke to this a bit yesterday, it is precisely why Secretary Blinken, on one of his, I believe it was his second trip overseas, went to Brussels and went to consult with NATO allies together with Secretary of Defense Austin. It's precisely why we returned to Brussels just a couple weeks later, because there's always been the mantra, the NATO mantra when it comes to Afghanistan: in together, adjust together, out together. That's always been the understanding. We did all of this and have continued to do all of this in close coordination with our NATO allies. Just today, Secretary Blinken met with the G7. This was a topic of discussion at the leaders level as well when President Biden was in Europe, meeting with the G7, with the EU, with NATO as well. I think the other point is that our strategic competitors would love nothing more than to see the United States bogged down in a conflict for another 2 years, 4 years, 20 years. A conflict that has come at tremendous opportunity cost for the United States. What we are doing is focusing on the threats and the opportunities that matter most to the American people, to our safety, to our security, to our prosperity. It's part of the reason why you've seen such a focus of this administration on those partners and alliances around the world, but also in the Indo-Pacific, and the commitment we have made to our system of alliances in that region. The first countries that Secretary Blinken visited were the Republic of Korea and Japan. We have invested deeply in ASEAN. Ambassador Sherman was in the region recently. We have met with ASEAN as a bloc, also individually with member states. So what I can tell you is that this administration values our alliances and partnerships for what they are, but also for what they represent. They represent a source of strength for us. As I said yesterday, they're a source of envy for our adversaries. We recognize that. It's precisely why we've invested such in them.
National Security Advisor Sullivan, he took my questions that Tuesday, what he said at the court. The president, as he said that repeatedly, has no intention of drawing down our forces from South Korea or from Europe, and where we have sustained troop presences for a very long time, not in the middle of a civil war, but deal with the potential of an external enemy and to protect our allies against that external enemy. So it is fundamentally different kind of situation from one and we are presented within Afghanistan. So do you think the Korean War is a civil war or an invasion by an external enemy, just like North Korea? What the United States thought this Korean War is?
Well, we've been very clear about what matters most to us when it comes to the Korean Peninsula. In fact, we did an entire policy review. And the outcome of that review, as we've said before, was that our focus will continue to be on the denuclearization of the Korean Peninsula. The denuclearization which will work to advance our national security interests, but also the interests of Japan and the Republic of Korea. We have stood together with our allies, not only in the context of North Korea's, the DPRK's nuclear capabilities, but also its ballistic missile capabilities, which, of course, are a profound menace to both Japan and the ROK. We've also said when it comes to animosity, when it comes to the relationship between South Korea and the DPRK, we are firmly on the side of engagement. We are supportive of the inter-Korean dialogue. We are supportive of efforts to forge better relations between South Korea and between the DPRK. All the while, we are focusing on the humanitarian issues, the humanitarian plight of the people of North Korea. That's what matters most to us. That's been the focus, and that's what we'll continue to focus on. Yes.